Hi everyone, this is Alan Lepofsky from Constellation Research, and today I want to talk to you about a topic I haven't discussed in a while, and that's IBM Notes and Domino. Now, you may recall last October, towards the end of 2017, IBM made an announcement that they've entered a strategic partnership or alliance with HCL Technologies, a company you may not be too familiar with, but I'll talk to you about them in a little bit more in just a second. But what that partnership does, and it's far more nuanced than this, but at the general level, it's sort of IBM retains sales and marketing of Lotus Notes and Domino and SameTime and the Verse family, where HCL takes over the development of it. Now, again, I mentioned it is more granular than that. HCL has obligations of what they deliver to IBM, but they can also do things on their own. They can take that Domino platform and build things and create new products and new platforms, on their own. But we'll get into that in more detail or in another video. I mentioned that many of you may not be familiar with HCL itself, so just in a very quick overview, if you look at what HCL does, they have huge amounts of tools in DevOps and mainframes and data and automation, all these things, and they've entered this collaboration space by acquiring this Domino, Notes, SameTime, and Verse technology. Now it's important that I mention, what they've acquired here, because when you think about the Notes and Domino family, there's always been two components to it, and as we look at it historically. There's the email side, and there's the application development side, or the platform side. And since the early days, early 1990s through to the 2000s up until today, being email and applications has been the strength of Notes and Domino, and it's also been the weakness of Notes and Domino. When you look at the competitive platforms, you don't fire up Outlook in order to get access to SharePoint web apps. So some people didn't like the fact that you would start the same client to read your Lotus Notes email as you would the hundreds of applications that your company may have built on it. So there's always been a strength and a weakness. So moving forward, there's sort of two opportunities that HCL and IBM are looking at for what they can do in the Notes Domino world. How can they continue to make email better? And so IBM a little while back introduced their new rebranded, reinvigorated sort of AI-powered email client called Verse. Now, to be honest, Verse isn't massively competitive in the enterprise space against Gmail and Outlook and Exchange, but what it does have going for it is a massive on-premise market that still exists. While we may not think that here in North America, there are geographies and there are industries where on-premises email still is a multi-million dollar business. So with a lot of focus on that and making that experience the best they can, there's some opportunity for IBM and HCL there. The second half is the strength of what Notes has always been, and that's building these quick, rapid application development applications. Now, what we used to call RAD, or rapid application development, now it's all trendy to call it low code or no code. And again, there's nuances between the differences there and how you drag and drop and what scripting languages and what platforms you build for. But if you think about the opportunity here, there's sort of that email on-premises opportunity, and there's that application platform capability. Things that Notes and Domino have done for decades are some things that companies are just still trying to do today. Offline and replication and built-in security and reader name fields and all these different things. If HCL can modernize that application development platform and bring it to cross-platform support, and they're already showing things like Notes apps running on iOS, running on an iPad or an iPhone. They've talked about and sort of privately demonstrated some prototypes for doing the same on Android, but look forward to seeing where HCL takes that development application sort of capability of Notes and Domino. Now, the second kind of problem with the Notes Domino world and what IBM had done is lack of marketing. And I have to tell you, honestly, as someone who used to be very important to the IBM Notes marketing world, I have to congratulate the team that's in charge now. If you look at some of the things they're doing, they have a dedicated website where they're actually updating content for things in the Domino space. They've got this whole sort of hashtag and campaign and theme that unifies everything called Domino 2025, where they're bringing all these things together. They've been very involved in conferences, starting back earlier this spring with Engage that took place in Rotterdam in May, moving into last month with DNUG, the German Notes user group, which has been around since the early days, I think mid-1990s, and that group is still running strong, and IBM had a lot of participation there. This upcoming week, IBM is going to be participating in CollabSphere, which is I think the rebranding of MWlug, which was another Notes sort of user group, but they're expanding upon what they're doing. And then into the fall with things like UKlug, or Icon, sorry, in the UK, sort of in the September timeframe. So IBM is being very involved with the user groups that are out there, helping sponsor them, sending people. This is where they're using these as opportunities for news and releasing new things. For those that can't make live events, IBM's gotten back into the webinar space for things, what's new in mail, modern application modernization, some facts about Domino 10, etc. So there are some really interesting things happening online as well. They're actually listening to customer and partner feedback. IBM has introduced a brand new product ideas forum where they're collecting the things that people want to see most for the product and being very transparent about that. Again, back in my days in Lotus, we did not do this well, so I have to give credit where credit is due, being very transparent and open about feature request systems. And finally, probably, perhaps one of the best proof of things moving forward quickly is, in less than a year, IBM has released the, betas of Domino and Notes 10. There's a first version that's out now. There's a second version that's going to be shipping shortly, I believe, for the client, for the server, for designer, etc. So proof is in the pudding. I've always said slideware isn't software, but IBM is starting to actually deliver some software here. So a lot of positive things happening in the Notes Domino space. Again, both in email and application development platform. That's not to say they don't have massive amounts of challenges behind them, both on the perception and the customer acquisition and competitive standfronts. But I think they're doing a lot of the right things. It'll be interesting to see where the HCL-IBM alliance can move things to. It'll be interesting the things that IBM does on its own and their connections platform and their Watson Workspace platform. So IBM has some collaboration tools. HCL may be doing some things on their own as well in the collaboration space based off the Domino platform. So interesting opportunity. Look, there's no clear leaders in this space. You've got Microsoft and Google and Slack and a whole bunch of other companies, Cisco and Salesforce and a whole bunch of others vying for that collaboration supremacy. It's a big market out there. Let's hope everyone can get it. Let's hope customers are happy, the business partners are happy, and at the end, it's win-win. So I'd love to hear your feedback, both positive and negative. What do you think of the future of IBM Notes and Domino and HCL's new application development capabilities? Love to hear from you. This has been Alan Lepofsky from Constellation Research talking to you about IBM Notes and Domino. Bye.